different apron for tonight. And it is one that describes me exactly. A friend got this for me, and it says, if you can't read it, it says Queen of Everything. And that does describe me exactly. So we are going to use this one tonight. Plus, this one is not solid white. And since we're going to be cutting up peaches again, oh, and Helen was lovely, Vicki. Thank you very much. We had a great time, and the girls were so well behaved. And luckily, we got in and out of there before the crowds got there. Okay, well, yeah, and this one, I'm wearing this one because I'm doing so fast with peaches that I don't want to get it all over my white apron. Okay, so this is the second half of tonight's chat, and this is chat number 275. This is June the 5th, and we were talking about anchors. So the month of June, we're going to be talking about anchoring, and we were talking about our why. Well, because my why are my granddaughters, because they are getting older and because they are starting to eat more real food, I've decided I want to start preparing some more real food. My grandmother, not her mom, interestingly enough, my mother's mother did not cook, can, grow a garden, nothing. She did none of that stuff. I don't know where my mother got this from. I don't know where she got that from, but I love the thought of buying things that I know where they've come from. They're, if they're from actual farmers, they're, I don't know, just not mass produced and mass processed, and they're not from overseas. So I've decided to start processing, some fresh produce, local produce when I can. I've been canning some things so that I can share them with the girls. So it is peach season right now. I have ordered, again, thanks to my friends Orlando, Debbie, and my friend Sonia here in town, I have ordered a digital electric pressure canner. And yes, we have checked it a million times. It does pressure can. It is not just a hot water bath canner. So it will do both. But we're going to make a couple of things tonight so that we can use up some more of these peaches. I have a row, and I know y'all can't really see it because I didn't tilt the camera up enough, but I have a row of canned peaches there. I've got, if you want to see how pretty they are in the jars, there are two right there. And no, Karen, I was not able to get a Presto because they were sold out. I don't remember what brand I got. Debbie, do you remember what brand I ordered? I don't know. I'll show it to you. If it gets here before next week, I'll show it to you next week. Anyway, so we're going to do a couple more things with cans. My friend Joanna from church has given us so many jars. Those are not washed yet, so we will not be using them. But we're going to do two more things tonight with peaches. One of them is peach freezer jam, and this is the easiest freezer jam. A Nesco. Thank you, Debbie. I got a Nesco brand, or I'm getting a Nesco brand, and I will tell you, it was not easy to find. Debbie and Sonia had to walk me through it, and I had to hunt, and I finally found one online at Kohl's. No Kohl's had them in stock. Yeah, so I had to order one. Okay, anyway, so we're going to make some. First thing we're going to do is make some peach freezer jam. I already have some freezing. So this is in, and Joanna, if you happen to be here, this is what I was talking about with a super cubes. So I made a batch earlier, and they've only been in the freezer for a few hours, but I'm doing some of these in the super cubes. And y'all have heard me talk about these before, and we do have these here at Casey Kitchen Center. But I'm doing some of these in the super cubes. This is the half cup size, so that when I want, this is the cup size, the 1 cup size, so that when I want some freezer jam, that I can just, pop some out, let it thaw, and not have to worry about a jar. But you can freeze them in the jar, and that's what we're going to make for this half of the chat, and those will be, some that I can give away. So you only need a couple of things. You need a blender or a food processor, and I'm going to be using a blender. So you either need a blender or a food processor, and again, I'm going to use a blender. You need peaches. You need fresh, ripe peaches. You need lemon juice. You need some kind of sweetener, and it doesn't have to be sugar. It can be a low-cal, whatever sweetener, and I'm going to use monk fruit again. And you need some kind of pectin, and I will be using, where is the little box? I told you, there is stuff everywhere here. Oh, here's the box. Okay, I'm going to be using Mrs. Wage's sugar-free pectin. This is not a no-cook, so we will be cooking this. But that's all you need. So quickly, I'm not going to peel these. These are already washed. You know, and we talked last week about how, and you're just going to dump them in here. So you're not going to cut up in little bitty pieces because you're going to let the blender do that. We talked last week about how to cut a peach horizontally to quickly pit it. You can see how easy that is. These are clean peaches. So and I have attracted quite the little gaggle of fruit flies. Jessica will be posting this recipe, maybe not tomorrow, probably by, I'd say probably by Tuesday, because I'll have 2 to send her. But we're just going to quickly get, and if you want to wait and do freestone peaches, you can certainly do that. Just don't do what I almost did and throw the pit into the blender. Yeah, that would be a bad idea. So we're going to quickly do like 5 peaches. You can do a little bit less, a little bit more if you want to. And this is for peach freezer jam. So this is not canned. This is going to need to stay in the freezer. Once you make this, it can stay in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. If you want to just put some of it in the refrigerator, you can keep it in there for up to 2 weeks. And if you put it in the freezer, you can keep it in the freezer for up to a year. Okay. Oh wow, that one came out weird. It's a weird looking peach there, dude. What's going on with you? Let's see if I can get the pit out of this one. Okay, so the first thing we need is about 4 or 5. Yeah, Cynthia said if you accidentally put the pit in there, you would know pretty soon because you would hear it in the blender. That is exactly right. Let me try to get that one out. That one is being stingy with its pit. Okay, so we've got, I think I did 4. Let's do one more real quick. And these are washed. So I've taken some of that extra fuzz off, and they're washed on the outside, so they're not going to be, they're washed. Let's put it that way. And I'm going to leave the skin on because for peach freezer jam, okay, y'all are talking about canners. So I'm going to leave the peel on because it helps with the color. And look, since this is not completely white, I can wipe my hands on here, but it does help with the color. And then we're going to put this on, and sorry, we're going to make a little bit of noise. We're just going to pulse this. If you have a food processor, you don't want it to be, you can puree it if you want to, but okay, and of course they're being fussy since this is live, so let me cut these up just a little bit more. They're fussing with me since we were doing this live. And this you don't have to be neat because these are going to be pulsed and cut up, anyway. Come on, everyone's watching. Everyone's waiting on you. Here we go. And the smell is, again, I know that this happened last week too, but the entire kitchen just smells like, I don't know, peaches. It's just the most fantastic, fresh smell. Okay, so you're just going to pulse it until it's chunky. So this is not completely smooth. It's kind of chunky. And if you want it to be completely smooth, if you want it to be more the consistency of like a jelly, you can do that. But you can hear how thick that is. So that's just good and chunky. Okay, and I'm boiling some water right now. because this is not no cook pectin. But while the water is boiling, we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup. And I'm serious, there is stuff everywhere, but apparently not 1/4 of a cup. Apparently, oh, I'll lift it over here. There are cans everywhere. I really wish y'all could see this. Like, can you see me waddling around this stuff? There are boxes in the floor. There are boxes in the floor of jars, of mason jars, okay? Okay, so you want to do about, it doesn't have to be exactly 1/4 of a cup, but you want to do about 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. You do want to put lemon juice in there. It is not going to make it taste like lemons, and just kind of stir it around in there. It's not going to make it taste like lemons. That is to keep it from, that's to keep the color, you know, going good. Okay, so while we are waiting on the water to boil, we're going to skip to the second one, which is, but we're going to do that also in the blender. But the second recipe is for a peach salsa. So again, we're just going to cut up some peaches. We're going to put them back in the blender too. I'll chop these up a little bit more. Hello, Marlene. I'll chop these up a little bit more so that they don't get stuck in there. So have y'all bought any peaches? Has anybody run out and bought some peaches because we've been talking about them so much? I'm just curious to know. And are you all Freestone peach girls? I think it's all girls tonight. Freestone peach girls, or are you, we got any people like me that are brave enough to use cling peaches? And our water's just about ready to boil. So when it's time to do the pectin for the freezer jam recipe, it has to be boiling hot. And here we go. It's just about boiling. So we're going to get our peaches ready for the second one. Oh yeah, and that's right. Cynthia's waiting for the peach truck to come to northeastern Ohio. So that's just a giant truck. That's just a giant truck that drives around, right? Yep, and Lynn's a Freestone girl, but they are not ready just yet. Yeah, so we don't have any Freestones yet either. That'll be next round. Yeah, and y'all are going to be shocked. Well, you're not. Those of you who don't know, and yeah, Lynette, there's lots of peaches in South Carolina. That's where these came from. Those of you who have not, you know, who just didn't know this about peaches, or if your store does not clearly mark them, there is a significant difference between cling peaches and Freestone. And this will go way faster when it is Freestone peach time. But these are so good. When Cynthia says the peach truck is a semi truck, that's so much fun. That is so much fun. Okay, so let's just get a couple more here. Ooh, that one does not want to come apart. And Marlene says she's getting peaches from the Georgia peach truck. Oh, and they'll be there on the 15th. She ordered 2 boxes. What does that say? You ordered 2 boxes and what? That one's very feisty. Let's get one of these. That one was not ready to be peach salsa. And I was really hoping that my friend Joanne from Sunday school was going to be here, because she was like, how are you going to do this in an hour? And I said, look, if we can't do 2 recipes, and really it's just in 30 minutes. I said, if we can't do 2 recipes in an hour, I'm not doing them, because, you know, I can't spend that much time. I can't spend this much time at home either. Okay, so we've got the peaches in there. We got the peaches in there for the next round. But for this one, let's go ahead and get, you can't get peaches at all. You can't get peaches at all in Pennsylvania, Marianne? Is that right? Okay, so that water is about boiling, so we're going to go ahead and get this part ready. So we're going to take a third. Now, if you buy, so if you get the Mrs. Wage's sugar-free pectin, don't throw these instructions away. Okay, so the instructions that come in here, and the kind I have is the sugar-free fruit pectin, but it is not no cook. But this has how to make jelly, jam, freezer jam. This has all the things in it, and it talks about what to do if you're going to make freezer jam. It talks to you about how they are different. Oh no, Mary, you've got to. I'm so sorry about that. Maybe you can y'all not get a peach truck to come? But you are going to mix. Anyway, don't throw those instructions away. So you're going to take, now that our water's boiling and I can hear it, you're going to do a third. Now this is only for the freezer jam. This is not for the peach salsa, okay? Only the freezer jam. So for the freezer jam, you're going to do, that was the wrong measuring cup. You are going to do about a third of a cup. And I'll just stop at about a third of a cup. You're going to do about a third of a cup of the pectin, the sugar-free pectin, and then you're going to do about a third of a cup of whatever sweetener you're going to use. And I'm going to use monk fruit. Okay, so you're going to do about a third of a cup of both of those. And if you use regular pectin, you're going to have to use a ton of sugar. So try to get the sugar-free kind. Now this water, so this was boiling water, and we're going to add enough to get it wet to start with, and then just use a whisk and stir it. And then we're going to add a little bit more. So you're probably going to have, you know, maybe a half of a cup. You're going to have maybe a half a cup of water. You don't have to measure it exactly. We're just trying to make sure that the pectin, and the sugar are good and melted. So make sure it gets good and wet. You want that to all be good and wet. So we're just going to whisk that together. I've got a little bit trying to stick there in the bottom. You know, because it wouldn't be live TV if, it wouldn't be live if things didn't try to stick. Let me find something to unstick that with. So alternatively to this, if you wanted to cook your peaches with the pectin and the sugar, you could do that. You could totally do that. Okay, so we're going to whisk that just a little bit more. Might need just a little bit more hot water. It's not quite dissolved. Here we go. So that was about a third of a cup of pectin and about a third of a cup of whatever sweetener you're going to use. And that was monk fruit. You could use Truvia. You could use stevia. You could use, use whatever your sweetener of choice is. Okay, and that is good. Now remember, this is for the freezer jam. So we're still making freezer jam. And yes, I am thinking peach salsa on fish and chicken. I'm thinking about making pork chops or maybe making a pork loin for everybody here at KC Kitchen Center one day this week. And then putting our freezer jam on there. Okay, and then you're going to stir that in with the mixture that we just made of the peaches. Okay, you're going to stir all that together. So now we have not quite pureed peaches. We've got, kind of chunky peaches and lemon juice. So we had about 5 or 6 smaller peaches. If you get those giant Freestone peaches, you don't need, quite as many, but we're going to do, we did like 5 or 6 of the smaller peaches. We did about we did a fourth of a cup of lemon juice, and you can use fresh lemon juice if you want to. You don't have to use it out of a little squeeze thing like I did. And then we did a third of a cup of pectin, of sugar-free home gel pectin. We did a third of a cup of that, and then we did Let me get some more in here. We did 1/3 cup of that, and then we did 1/3 cup of your favorite lower calories, sweetener. We did that, and yeah, put it together. And that will be posted later this week. It already tastes so good. So before you put this in the freezer, though, what did I do with the lid? I have so much stuff here, people. So much stuff. So before you put this in the freezer, let it sit out and cool off. If you want to put it in the refrigerator, you can. You are not canning this, so you can use a lid like this. You can put it in any kind of a jar. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. But that is what your freezer jam is going to look like. Let it completely cool off, and then you can put it in the freezer. So you might even want to put it in the refrigerator, maybe, for an hour or so, and then put it in the freezer. And it needs to freeze for at least 3 or 4 hours, or I'm going to say overnight. And again, in the freezer, this will last for like a year. Okay, so that is the freezer. That's the peach freezer jam, and we will post that recipe, here in a day or two. Okay, so that's the peach freezer jam, and then really quickly, let me move. I'm serious. We have so many things here. So I have in the blender, I've got 4 or 5 peaches, and then quickly, for the sake of time, remember, you do not need the pectin for this one because we're not making jelly. We're making salsa, and we're making kind of cheater salsa. So I have not yet made salsa from scratch. Maybe I will try that since I'm in this canning phase, but I have not yet. I'm getting ready to cut up a jalapeno to put in here. I'm not going to recommend that you do this without protecting your hands. For some reason, what on earth? For some reason, jalapenos don't seem to bother me. I don't know why. Do not know why. I have hands of steel or whatever, but so far I have not had any problems with them. But you're literally, these are already washed. I don't season them because I want them to be hotter. So I'm going to just cut up a couple of jalapenos. And if you do this, please wear gloves. If you don't wear gloves, please do not touch your face. Please don't touch your face. Please don't touch your friend's face. Please don't touch your brother or your sister's face. Please don't do that. So I will be washing my hands just as soon as I get done with this, and I will not be touching Dusty before then. So y'all can hang with me 10 more minutes because I don't think it's going to take us 10 more minutes. So we're just cutting up a couple of fresh jalapenos to go in here. So we already have peaches. We do not necessarily have to do the lemon juice in this one. I'm going to squirt just a little bit of it in just to kind of keep that, that color going. But you'll see why here in just a second. Yeah, don't touch your pet's face. No, Debbie's exactly right. So I will not be touching Dusty's face. And I don't know if you can see or not, but I am constantly this whole time have been wiping my hands on a wetted cloth. That doesn't even count. I will have to wash my hands before I touch anything, including Dusty. Okay, so luckily he is sound asleep, so I will not be picking him up. I'm going to squirt just a little bit of the lemon juice in there, and again, that's just for the coloring. That has nothing to do with flavor. We're going to pop the lid on this, and we're going to pulse it again. Hopefully it won't take as long as the first time. Again, if you have a food processor, just use the food processor. That has to be quicker. That has to be quicker than what I'm doing. And I'm going to use my spoon to push that down in there. Oh, nope. Now Dusty's awake because I said his name. Look how pretty that's going to be. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so pretty. And that's not even everything. Okay. And then here's where the cheater part comes in. So the cheater part is I'm going to take the peaches and the jalapenos that I just blended. And again, if you have a food processor, even better. Okay, so I'm going to take that, and look how pretty this is already. Look how pretty this is already looking. But to that, this is the cheater part. To that, I'm going to add 2 cans of any kind, any brand. So like Rotel was out across the street. So this is the Food City brand. These are diced tomatoes with green chilies, lime juice, and cilantro. So I'm going to add 2 cans of that. I also do this for my pineapple salsa. That's already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. The pineapple salsa recipe is already on there. Come on, can opener. I know people are waiting. I literally hate hand can openers. And Casey was just saying the other day, she was like, I just want a can opener that works. We have the worst luck with can openers. Okay, let's try to get this open without killing myself. Okay, so this is where, so salsa, you know, has tomatoes in it. It's got, you know, some other things. You could put some corn in there if you wanted to. But there is 1 can of Food City brand of Rotel. It's basically Rotel, but it is the diced tomatoes with green chilies, lime juice, and cilantro. You can use any of those that are, you know, any of those that are spicy, you know, those kind of already spicy. Or if you just want to get some fresh salsa, you can put it in there. This can opener is not going to work for me. Maybe that's what somebody should get for me for my birthday, is a can opener. Okay, let's see if I can get it out of this without belaboring this point. We were just talking the other day, my grandmother had a, she refused to use an electric can opener or, you know, even a can opener like that. The one that she had was just a piece of metal with a sharp thing on the end, and you went, okay, and as if this didn't already look good enough, see how pretty that's becoming? And again, if you wanted to add corn to this, you could put some black beans in it if you want to. But as if, oh God, it smells so good. As if that wasn't good enough, y'all know me, and if you don't want this, you don't have to add this. But I will be adding fresh cilantro. So just having cilantro in with the tomatoes is not enough for me. I need more. I need all the cilantro. And I wish my microgreens dealer had been here, had come through this week, because baby cilantro would have been fantastic. It would have been absolutely fantastic. Okay, so here we go. Let me put some in a jar so that y'all can see what this looks like. But this is peach salsa. And this recipe will be up sometime this week on the If You Have an Egg blog. And that is just IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. And you will be able to go there and find this recipe. And it smells so stinking good. So stinking good. Yeah, and Susie says she has the same love for cilantro. So Susie and I are not those people that think it tastes like soap. So if you don't like cilantro, just leave it out. And remember, at this point, don't touch your face. Don't get excited. Don't get excited because you just finished something and touch your face or your friend's face or your neighbor's face or your dog's face, you know, whatever. Because you just cut up all these jalapenos. But does that not look heavenly? Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I cannot wait to eat this week. Okay, I'm gonna start getting this cleaned up. I'm gonna go wash my hands so that I can actually touch myself and Dusty. Both of these recipes will be posted on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com in here in just a day or two, and my gut tells me that she will post one. Yeah, thank you, Lynn. I found it. I did. I know. It was sitting like right there, but there is so much stuff out. I should take a picture of how much stuff is out for you all. But I hope you all enjoyed this. She will get that recipe posted, both of those recipes posted as quickly as possible. Again, remember to mark your jars. I almost forgot to mention that. So the lid for this one will say freezer jam, which is very sweet. The lid for this one will say peach salsa, okay? Yeah, don't get them mixed up. That would be a bad idea. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Have a great week. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and let that next video roll over because we're going to be talking about peaches in that one too. But y'all have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you next time. Good night.